Welcome to another episode of Outcast Podcast. Today's episode, we have one of our playoff contenders for this season's championship, driver of the number 5, Brandon Puffenbarger. Uh, how you doing today, Brandon?
Oh, not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Glad to have you in here. Our phone call interview. And I guess we'll start off. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Kind of like what kind of work you do or where you live, where you're from?
Yeah, so right now I live in Morgantown, West Virginia. Basically for work I do real estate and local earned income tax, um, stuff like that. Been racing on iRacing for 12 years now. So
Oh,
Jeez.
wow. Wow. Most of everybody that we've kind of talked to and chit chatted with has been COVID iRacers. Kind of got into the iRacing when COVID started and all that. Morgantown, West Virginia. I'm trying to think. Where's the casino that's up there? Is that in Charleston?
yeah, so that's like 2 hours south of me.
Because I lived in Roanoke, Virginia, and I would go up to the casino because that was the closest casino. Um, was Charleston, West Virginia. I like West Virginia. Is it true that it's okay to date your cousin up there?
uh, so Brandon, tell us what drew you into the sport of auto racing. Did you watch it growing up? Were you born into it, or is it just something like you picked up yourself?
So growing up, my dad would watch it, and I didn't really get into it until Dale Sr. passed away, and I didn't really understand the magnitude. But then I started to understand it when Junior won the '01 night race at Daytona, and then kind of from there, I just got hooked and always wanted to just keep watching and see what's going to happen next.
Is there any short tracks up there in West Virginia? Do they have asphalt or is it more dirt racing? Or I'm not even sure on that one.
I think it's more dirt. I know up in PA, like less than an hour from me, they just reopened Pennsboro. It's like a little 3/4 mile dirt track. It's been shut down for several years, but they just brought it back. And I think in between Morgantown and Charleston, they just reopened up another dirt track that used to be on the circuit, but fell off. But now it's coming back again.
Have you been up there? Have you had the experienced any dirt racing?
Not around here. Um, I mean, years ago, I went to Williams Grove, and yeah, that's like the only dirt track I went to. I mean, Hagerstown Speedway, which is
That's in
in
Maryland, right?
that's in Maryland. So I went to a couple races there when I grew up because I lived like 20 minutes from that track.
So you grew up in Maryland and moved to West Virginia?
Yeah, so I was born in Maryland, moved to South Central PA, so like around the Hagerstown area, just over the border, and then uh, the end of COVID year, I moved up to Pittsburgh, and then last year I just moved down to Morgantown.
Oh wow, you've been all over.
Yeah.
Is it you moving because of your job, or just because you don't like to
So
stay
co
put?
no, it so the end of the COVID year, I moved up here because I needed to kind of get out of my hometown, just needed something different. And then 2 years ago, I started dating my fiance, and then last November, I moved down to Morgantown to move in with her.
Awesome.
Love will do that to
Love does all kinds of wonderful things.
you.
So you do watch NASCAR, and did you say Dale Earnhardt Sr. was your favorite driver, or do you have a new favorite driver that you watch now?
So my favorite growing up was Junior, and then he got out, and then I was kind of like in between a couple people, but then when NASCAR reinstated Larson for a second chance, I kind of just stuck with Larson, just because I think he's pretty cool and he doesn't kind of stick to one discipline. He does whatever he can try to throw himself into.
Who's your second favorite?
Probably Blaney.
I
I
was
just
just making sure it wasn't no Denny Hamlin's coming out.
no, 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 no.
Why is every? He's not gonna like Hamlin if he likes Larson.
I'm
Like,
just I just want to make sure, these are important factors.
Yeah, I
um,
think when Denny was eliminated this year for the playoffs, I shared a meme on Facebook. Mark's safe from my Denny Hamlin championship, so we're good on that for another year.
Anytime you want to share memes, feel free to share them on Outcast Racing Discord. Anthony loves them.
people hate on him. People hate winners, right? he just can't win that championship, but he's the most winningest driver without one. I'm pretty sure. Um. Anyway, so you were saying you got into iRacing 12 years ago. Is that when you first started doing any type of sim racing?
No, so just like any other NASCAR fan that kind of grew up, I started with like NASCAR 98 and just bought every one that they released every year. Then the first one I played online was NASCAR '09 on the PS3. And then I dabbled into like NASCAR Inside Line and a couple of those ones, but they weren't as good as like NASCAR '09. So that's when I kind of made the switch over to iRacing.
So you said 98. Did you ever use the paintballs in 98? Did you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you that don't know, if you were playing your PlayStation and you hit like all four of your bumper pads, it would unlock a code that would shoot paintballs out your car. So while you're racing, you're shooting paintballs, and when it hits the car that you're shooting it at, it just spins them right into the wall. So
Mario Kart.
it was like a fun way for kids who couldn't race to win, I guess. I don't know.
So, one thing that we've started kind of asking people, what kind of rig do you have? Like, can you describe like what kind of steering wheel you use, pedals? Do you set at a desk? Do you got a aluminum 80/20 rig?
So I'm sitting at a desk right now. I got a Fanatic direct drive with just a standard BMW wheel rim, and then I got the V3 pedals to go with that.
Is it the inverted V3s or
N-
the
no,
regular?
just the normal ones.
That's what we Anthony and I have the inverted V3s.
We
I
have
like them.
we actually have the same exact setup, right? Because you got the Moza R5 too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the same exact setup.
Just we just have different rigs, but the exact same setup.
Gotcha.
So you're from another league that quite a few of us here at Outcasts run in as well, called Mid Atlantic Racing Series, or Mars. Are you one of the admin over there?
Yeah, so the three admins over there is me, Corey, and Austin.
So, as an admin, uh, what do you find to be the biggest struggle in running a league?
I think the biggest struggle is just to retain like car counts for each race. Like I know like for us sometimes like Daytona we can get 20 to 30 guys, but then when we go to like a road course it knocks down in half almost.
hmm we did struggle with that towards the beginning of Outcast. Everyone would show up like when we were doing recruiting at the beginning, and you'd get 40 people to start because we would use like Talladega as our first race just to draw people to the league. And 40 people would show up, and then the next week we're going to, I don't know, say Kansas. You only get about two-thirds of that, and then it just kind of dwindled off. But I think we're at a point now where we're constantly running 20 to 25 car fields, and sometimes it gets higher. I'm sure this weekend's going to be 30 cars.
And I think too, like you're saying with the road courses, like there's a lot of people. It's kind of like me. When I think of NASCAR, I don't think of road course. I think oval racing, and a lot of people. To me, it's like you got to be in a road course car to run road courses, which I do enjoy road course cars on road course. I'm not very good at it, but I'm not a fan of cup cars on road courses at all. But
Oh, the
anyways,
next gens.
yeah. So I definitely agree that that is a struggle, um, with running a league or being an admin of a league for sure.
So how many different series do you guys run in Mars?
We run two. So Monday nights we run um mini stocks. Like we got a mixture of tracks. Mostly anything under a mile. We did put on a couple mile and a halves, few road courses. It's kind of just like a little mini fun series to blow off steam. And then Tuesday nights is our truck series, which is our main series. Week two of the playoffs starts tomorrow night. But um, that series has been running pretty well, I would say, after like the first two seasons. So, I mean, we're starting to get our base like you guys have. Um, just kind of still trying to grow on it a little bit so we can tap out at like 20 to 25 cars a race.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's the series that most of our, I don't say most of our guys, but the guys that
it
run in
you
ORL come over and race.
and it usually takes a season or two, like 2 seasons, to kind of get build that base, and then the to me, and Anthony probably could vouch, but I think like around season 5 is where you determine whether it's going to go or not. A lot of leagues seem to drop off or run into altercations or issues around season 5, season 6. Don't you agree, Anthony?
Yeah, that's you see a lot of leagues implode by that point. People who have been there the whole time, their heads start getting big, and then uh, you know, I this guy feels like he's got more power than this guy, and fortunately we don't have that here. We're all equals in Outcast, and you guys seem to be doing a very good job over there at Mars. So
Yeah. So, what brought your team, Midwest Motorsports, to ORL? How did you hear
Uh,
about ORL and stuff like that?
so I was running with Corey and Austin in a different league before we started Mars, and like it kind of we didn't like the direction it was kind of starting to implode. So we made Mars, and then Corey was like, "I'm in this other league. If you guys want to run, you can run on my team." So I think that's when I did the tryout race. I think it was at Homestead um, last year sometime, or the beginning of the year, this year sometime, and then I just started running with you guys, and I really do enjoy running with you guys, whether it's drama filled or not. I mean, it's always fun.
yeah,
So,
some of these races do have a lot of junk. Like this one we just ran yes yesterday. What day? Today's Monday, right? Yeah. So yesterday that one was there was a lot of drama going on. Not so much on track, but in the points, looking for to see who was going to make it into the playoffs. And the I've got an image here that shows us our current playoff reseed. So after everyone who made it into the playoffs is going to be here, and their bonus points for winning stages and winning races. So you were sitting like 22nd in points, and because you won a race earlier and you met the 7 race minimum, you are now seeded as the number 9 seed going into the playoffs. So you jump from 22nd to ninth because of your win, which
that'll be
is
Yeah.
good.
I-
That's a good place to, you know, getting the wins and stay the bonus points and stuff is huge. So that'll give you a little bit of leadway in the playoffs to the next cut.
For
So
sure.
I've got some of your stats here. You've had 17 starts with us in 2 seasons, and that's as of right now. You've got 2 wins, one last season at Auto Club, and then one this season at Dover. And again, with your Dover win and your 7 required starts, locked you into the playoffs. What's your confidence level going into the first round here, being 2 races before the cutoff for the next round, heading to Talladega on Sunday, and then Phoenix next week?
Dega, I mean, anything can happen, but I'm usually pretty good at keeping my nose clean there. And then Phoenix, we'll just have to wait and see because I'm not the greatest at Phoenix. I usually burn my right front off. But I think experience and the stages and stuff like that will help me at least remain competitive relative with the other playoff drivers.
Yeah, I know. I distinctly remember Corey last year had the winning strategy to win the championship at our last plate track, and a late race caution kind of screwed that up for him. And I mean, your whole team was right there running together. You guys had that strategy down, and it worked. But I think
So going into the playoffs, does your team take a different approach to strategy? Like, do y'all practice more, or y'all just go in there and just kind of work together as the race goes on? Or
We don't really change our strategy per se. We try to, like in practice, I mean, we'll take different approaches to the track, see if something's better than a different way. So we'll try that. But usually we approach the races same way each week is just kind of winging it and seeing if we can figure out how to be competitive short run and long run. But we don't really change much for playoffs.
so. I am looking at this now, and you are the only person from your team that has made it into the playoffs. So you don't think your team's gonna do what they can to help you there?
I mean, Talladega and the finale at Daytona, I mean, we'll work together there, but I don't expect them to like do anything egregious or anything like that. They're like those guys aren't like that. They are like me. We race clean, race hard, and if we get in an accident, we get in an accident. We usually own up to it. But I don't expect them to go out of their way to help me like at the short tracks in the playoffs or anything like
I think I'd be like, hey, you gotta get me up there.
Right.
that.
Let's see. Yeah, so 17 starts. Yeah. What else you think? You have
You
any?
got
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you got anything you any shout outs or anything you'd like to throw out there for anybody, anything?
Just Corey, Austin, Josh for running on the team. You guys are putting on the podcast and the league itself. It's a lot of fun over here. Regardless, like I said earlier, regardless if there's drama or not, I mean, there's always going to be drama one way or another. So,
Yeah, I feel like we handle most of the drama pretty good. Um, I do think that we need to tighten up on our rule book, and it might upset some people next season, but we kind of dropped it a little bit this season. So next season might have a little bit different feel, but it's better to get it situated now than have it, uh,
And
continue.
I think you as being an admin on a different league, you kind of get the goal is you want to have good green flag racing, you want to have competitiveness, and when you get a lot of yellows and stuff like that, it kind of bores it, so that can affect how many people stay in the league and who doesn't. So I've enjoyed Outcast racing. Um, I I remember us talking on Joe Six Pack about putting this getting together and actually having a league kind of the exact same way y'all did Mars. And that was one of the best things ever. Because I definitely don't run much public lobbies. Because in there it's chaos. Not quite as bad as like NASCAR '98 or something like that with paintballs and stuff. But I mean, going off track, it sounds like Anthony was probably one of the drivers that drove backwards on the track in NASCAR.
Oh, I would definitely do that just to. I mean, if iRacing would allow me to do that when we're doing private team practices, I'd probably end up doing it just to have fun.
I do have another question though, and I ask everybody: do you have any rivals? Does y'all team have a rival team, or do you have any driver that's kind of a rival? Like, not rival in a bad way, but like a
This
good
is the guy.
rival.
This is the guy I want to beat every week,
Yeah.
or this is the team we want to beat every week.
Team wise, no, I wouldn't say because we get along with most of you guys anyway. I think the only good rival we have is we know Colton's good, so we try to measure up to him, try to keep him honest. Um, Colton, Cam, Muse is good. Uh, there's several guys that we do like to race around and try to give them as much room as possible without laying over.
Yeah, I feel like those are some of the faster guys in the league, and I'll definitely race them harder than I would other people. So I could see that. Well, I don't have any more questions written for you. Um, Prom, you got any more questions for Brandon here?
Which is what I was just trying to think. I don't, I don't, I don't have any more.
What time does your mini stocks start on Mondays and your trucks on Tuesdays?
So mini stocks Mondays. Lobby opens at 6:30. Qualifying starts at 7:30. Green flags 7:40, and then it's the same for the truck
So
on
you pretty much
Tuesday.
getting ready to go race.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna hop out of here and hop in the car. No, I'm doing a podcast, buddy. Um,
Well, we're glad that you and your team has come over to Outcast Racing. We definitely enjoy you guys being here, and we enjoy the podcast as well because it's fun to get to know the drivers a little bit better. Um, I enjoy finding out more about individuals. It makes the racing funner. It makes it more. Uh, I don't know, just more competitive out there. And we're definitely glad to have you out here with Outcast. Um, definitely congratulations for getting into the I guess the next, what is it, the championship drive, championship 16 or what is it?
yeah,
16?
the top
Yeah.
16. I'm
And
It was unfortunate that Austin couldn't. Like, even if Austin started this last race, I think he would have pointed his way in.
Right.
Unfortunate he missed that. It was
Yeah, I
actually
think he was
somebody
out of
else.
town.
Somebody else, Tyler Humphreys, missed out by 5 points in getting in the playoffs because he didn't start, and he has the wins, but he didn't meet the 7 race minimum.
Right.
So that would have changed the playoffs up a little bit. So now those two guys, Austin, I think he's got 3 wins this year. So Austin and Tyler, I think, has 2. Um, they can play playoff spoiler the rest of the season now and come in and try to take these wins away from the playoff drivers.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm excited to see how it goes, and we definitely wish you the best of luck in the championship run. And um, I guess, as always, we'd like to thank our sponsorship. We got Williamsburg Contracting, Shinko Custom Diecast, Land and Sea, RT3 Designs, Tuckered Out for everything that they do. And as you know, the league continues to grow because of the sponsorship, and we are very appreciative of it. And then, if you're interested in being on the podcast, send myself or Anthony a message. Or what's the email address, Anthony?
Outcast Racing League ORL at gmail.com.
So you can send an email if you'd like, and would love to have anybody on here. And it's always fun to learn more about people.
Yeah, learn more about them off the track rather than just seeing them show up on Sundays.
And who knows, one day, Brandon, you might be one of the guys coming down to Daytona with us. I think it's what, 12 of us this year?
There's a lot of us. I can't. Every time I count, I feel like I'm missing somebody, so I don't even bother counting anymore. I know it's double digits for sure.
Somewhere
Yeah,
around 12, a bunch of people going to the Daytona 500, which is always a good time.
yeah, that one's on my bucket list. I've only been to Michigan so far. Well, Michigan and Bristol.
It's kind of like going to Vegas. What happens at Daytona stays in Daytona. Because I'm tell you, it's been an interesting run so far. How many times have I been, Anthony, with y'all?
Uh,
Four times maybe now.
3 times I think.
3 or 4. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
it's definitely changed because when we started going to Daytona, it was just my dad and I, and we did that for like 7 years, just him and I, and then my brother started going, and then my family started going down, and then we met Brom on iRacing and invited him to go down because he was part of our team at the time, Wild Aces, and it's just been growing every time we go down. There's more people. Last year we had TJ and we had Casey down there with us.
yep.
It was a good time. Now this year we've got like 6 others going. Al coming over from Ireland just to go to the race with us. That's gonna be awesome.
And he's gonna bring some real chocolate.
I'm excited for it. It's less than I don't know what 85 days away now. It's gonna be
And
fun.
it kind of works out because when you go in a big group like that, like we're renting a big house, and it's not as expensive as if you try to go by yourself,
Right.
and just the camaraderie and everybody sitting around, and then everybody will get there like Friday, and then you have all day Saturday to do whatever, whether it's go karts or putt putt or whatever. We're staying in Kissimmee, and then you pretty much spend the day Sunday at the racetrack. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I mean, it doesn't have to be Daytona either. We could travel to Virginia for some races. I know we're supposed to be going to Richmond. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll see Johnny and Kurt and Colton.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun. I've met a handful of guys from Outcast just because of Outcast at races. It's been fun. We'll add you guys to the list. All
That's right.
right. Well, we'll see you on track Sunday. Again, good luck with the pursuit of the championship. I know I've been close the last couple of years. They've been heartbreakers, but we'll I'm excited to get it going and excited to have you guys out there on track.
All righty. We'll catch y'all later.
All right, man.
Later.
See ya.